is in Italy. So after they had the popes, they start having their own kingdom. And so the kingdom was in the center of Italy, and the name was the state of the Pope. Okay, it was very big. All central part of Italy was part of the kingdom of the Pope. And when it finished in 1871, when the king of Torino, conquered all Italy. Also the Italian state left to the Pope a small part of the city, Vatican City, which is called now Vatican City, and he signed an agreement that rest of Roma had to become Italian. Okay, before was the kingdom of the Pope. After became Italy. But the Pope still has a small part of Roma called Vatican City, which is really very small. It's just the church, Cathedral of St. Peter, the Vatican museums, and a big garden, a big park. This is Vatican City. It's very small. And you can go and come out without any problem. You cannot enter in the park, for example. You have to cross the police. There is a border. There is a real border. The Pope has his own soldiers called Guardia Svizzera, Swiss guards, because they come from Switzerland. It's an old story, also this one. The guards of the Pope are coming from Switzerland, and they are selected by tallness. They have to be very tall, they have to be Swiss, and they have the privilege to take care of the Pope and of Vatican City. Inside Vatican City there is the church, the big cathedral of St. Peter. There are, yes?
Is Vatican a country?
It's an independent country. It's totally independent. They have their own coins, their own stamps, they have their own government. They have everything inside. The Italian state cannot do anything in Vatican City.
So the leader is the Pope?
The chief of Vatican City is the Pope. The governor is the Pope. The Pope is also a political leader.
So it's also a president?
Yeah, he is a kind of president. No, I know that it's difficult to understand because Vatican City is so small that you think, how is possible it's a real country? But it is a real country. Many people go and buy the stamps of Vatican City, which usually are very beautiful, okay? It's another country.
Because of your passport. You have to use passport.
You have to use your documents. You cannot, Italian people can use their identity card. But of course it's an independent country. You cannot enter if you want. It happened to me that we had visiting professors coming from India. I took them to visit the Vatican, St. Peter, okay? And St. Peter, anyone can go, also from Italy, without crossing a border in the church. But if you want to visit the park, the garden of the Pope, you cannot go inside without showing your document. Okay? In the church you can go, because this is the church, the most important church for the Catholics, you know?
Yeah.
But you cannot go inside and it's surrounded by walls. The garden, the residence of the Pope is protected by police, by walls, of course. It's the most important religious leader in the world, so of course it's very well protected. In any case, you can go in the church. This you can do. You can visit the church, St. Peter's. There is a lot of security, of course, because in St. Peter we have many masterpieces of Italian art. There is Michelangelo, the Pietas, the Mother of Christ. You remember this statue we will see when we do history of art. Okay? So Vatican City is an independent state, but because we have the Pope in Rome, and because of this agreement done by the Emperor Costantino, now of course the majority is converted into Christianity. But before they used to follow the religion which is similar to the Greek religion. Okay, so the god Jupiter, and we had many gods before. Okay, after we became Christians, and now the majority is Christian, Catholic Christian. Not 75, which is according to the new statistics is 76%, but Christian. Christian is together Catholics and Protestants. Okay. So these are the other religions, okay? Other religions altogether are 5%, more or less. Then 10%, these are people who think that they are believers, but without a religion, because it's a new trend. It's very, how can we say?
New trend.
It's in fashion. To be religious, it's in fashion. I'm joking. No, but I think it's also fashion. The meaning that people say, I'm a believer, I believe in God, but I'm not Catholic, I'm not Protestant, I'm not Muslim, I'm nothing. I still have to decide which religion I want to belong. So they are still, but they are believers. They believe in God. It means that the majority of Italian people believe in God. We think that there is, we are sure, almost sure. It's difficult to find a real atheist in Italy. It's difficult. Okay, because Italian people at the end are very spiritual. They think that there is a reason of our life. Okay. Agnostici means the people who don't know, who say maybe yes, maybe no. Okay? They are not sure. There are people who are, no, but this is also a symptom of a research. It means that people think about this, okay? They think about the spiritual world, okay? And then 5%, they say I'm atheist, 5 or 6%. They say I'm sure God is not, but they are a minority in Italy. It's, okay. So, the second one, okay. So, religions in number. I divided in two branches, okay? One is the oldest religions in Italy, okay? Apart from the Greek religion that we took from the Greek. This is a temple which is in Italy. This is Paestum. Paestum is close to Napoli. We have the most in Italy, I told you last time, we have the most beautiful Greek temples in the world. The best preserved and most beautiful Greek temple in the world are not in Greece but are in Italy. If you go to Paestum, you are astonished because Paestum is a miracle. There are 3-4 temples like this. The first time I saw, I was shocked. And that's why the Greek people used to call Italy, not Greece, when they conquered Italy, centuries before Christ and before the Roman Empire. They conquered part of South Italy. They established colonies there. Okay? They settled in Sicily, they settled close to Napoli, okay? And they start making these big temples who are still there, even after Pompeii. You remember the story of Pompeii and
Yes.
Vesuvio? Paestum is very close to Pompeii, but it's still there. And it's a miracle, because it's in the countryside, you see these Greek temples and you think, where am I now? I'm in Greece, I'm in Italy. But these are the colonies since the 7th century before Christ, after the Romans came and they started building their own civilization. So, in the beginning we had the Greek religion and the Greek culture, because we inherited from the Greeks the religion, the idea of republic, democracy, many scientific topics also. No, we learned from the Greeks, from the ancient Greek civilization. Okay, we learned from them in the beginning, but after we had the Roman Empire. Okay, so the first religion was the Greek religion. That's why I put here. After that, we had what is this? This is the synagogue in Rome. We had the Jewish, because when the Romans conquered Middle East and Egypt, many Jewish, they were conquered, they settled in Italy, they came to Rome and they settled there. So the Jewish community in Italy is the oldest in the world, apart from their own kingdom, which is now Israel, but it started in the 8th century before Christ in the Middle East, okay? It was conquered and destroyed by the Romans. Our fault, this is our fault. Sometimes I say that I'm happy not to be of Roman origin, but they destroyed, they conquered, like every people in the world, when they conquer, sometimes they destroy. The Romans, they destroyed the kingdom of the Jewish. The Jewish came to Europe, they started the diaspora, they came to Roma first, they settled in Roma. That's why St. Peter, after Jesus died, came to Roma, because there was a big colony of Jewish. They were merchants, they were slaves in the beginning. Okay, that's why I put the synagogue here. Then, what is this? St. Peter, the church. This is the main church of the Christianity, the Christians. This is St. Peter Cathedral. This is, I put this picture, but I will show you something better in the night, because it's very, Roma, it's an amazing city. So this is during, it is raining in the evening, and so you can see St. Peter is the biggest Catholic church in the world. It's the biggest Catholic church in the world. Why? Because there is an agreement, nobody can build a church bigger than St. Peter, because St. Peter is the first. It has to be the biggest, okay? It has to be the biggest. And of course, this is not the original one. The original one was very small. It was not so big. This was built in the 16th century. They made many renovations in different styles, okay? But in the beginning it was really a small church, also because the Christians, they had to hide themselves, because they were persecuted by the Romans in the beginning. The people who were converted into Christianity, they became martyrs. Okay, so the first church was very small, now we have the biggest in the world, and it has to be like this. Why I put this? Nobody knows this church, but I put here because we have 700,000, we have 71% of Catholics, okay, of Christians, but only 66.7 are Catholics. The rest, so it is 66, I'm not very good in mathematics, is 5%. They are Christians but not Catholics. And among these 700,000 are Protestants. Protestants, you know, they are the people converted after Martin Luther or Calvino. But nobody knows that there are many other Protestants, and the first Protestants in the world were not born in Switzerland, in Germany. They were not Calvino or Martin Luther. They are not coming from the priests who were Catholics. They come from Valdo. Valdo is the name of the first Protestant leader in the world, who was not Italian. He was born in France, Lione, okay? But he came to Italy, to the northwest of Italy, because the border is with France. He settled close to Torino, Turin. He settled there, and in the 12th century, it means 1170 more or less, he settled in Italy, and he started spreading his own view of Christianity. Okay? And the church, and they were persecuted, of course, by government, by the Catholics also during the centuries. They had to rush sometime to Switzerland, to France, and then come back to Italy. But their Vatican is in a small village close to Torino, to Turin, which is called Torre Pellice. Torre Pellice. Torre Pellice is 50 kilometers from Turin, close to the border of France, and they have their own church, the first Protestant church in the world, which is the community of Valdo, Valdesi is called in Italian, okay? And they are all over the world. I don't know if you have here also. And why I talk about them? They are the first Protestant in the world and nobody knows. You know only about Martin Luther and but Valdesi, they come 4 centuries before. And it's a very important community. The Valdesi, they had the first women priests in the world. They had in the 80s. And they are very, from a cultural point of view, they are very developed. They are very advanced. They have women, they call not priests, they call pastora, pastore shepherd, okay? So they have shepherds, men, but also women. The first one in the world, after the church in England, after the church, what's the name of the church in England, whose chief is the Queen of England, okay? But the first one were the Valdesi, and I admire them, I like them. I'm not a Valdese, of course, but they are very open-minded, they help a lot, the people, they are really Christians. They practice a lot of the original teaching of Christ, you know. So they are open-minded. So for them, women and men are the same. So it's very interesting to study about Valdesi. Okay. So these are the most ancient religions in Italy: the Greek, then the Jewish, the Valdesi community, and the Catholic, the oldest. Okay, this settled to 2,000 years back in Italy. Valdo, 1,000 years back, more or less. Okay. The new entries, I call them the new entries, the new religions, of course. And why they came to Italy, these new religions? This is a phenomenon of the last 20 years, through immigrants. Because now we have millions immigrants to Italy. Now we have Muslims coming from North Africa looking for jobs. Economic immigrants, we call them. Sometimes also refugees coming from Iraq, from Afghanistan, now from Syria. We have many, because Italy, if you look at the Mediterranean Sea, is the first country when you cross the sea from Tunisia, and the first country you meet are the Italian islands. So we have every day now 5,000-10,000 people coming to Italy through the sea, from Libya, from Tunisia, by boat people. But we have also people who came long time back from Iraq, during the wars. They settled from Lebanon, for example. So we have the second religion now in Italy is the community of Muslims. Okay, mostly from Morocco, North Africa, economic immigrants mostly, some refugees. Okay, but mostly economic immigrants. They look for a job. Italy is the first country in Europe they meet and they settle in Italy. And so the second community are Muslims. The third one is Orthodox Christian. Orthodox Christians are coming from which part of Europe? Do you know the Orthodox? From Russia, Ukraine. They are Russian. The Orthodox. They split from the Catholics in the Middle Age. They have their own church, and it's called Orthodox Christians. And they are also immigrants. They came to Italy to work. After the collapse of the Communist Party in Russia, they started looking for a job in Europe, and they came to Italy. They work in Italy. So we have many churches, we have many masjid, many mosques in Italy. The biggest masjid in the Western world is in Roma. After I will show you, is in Roma. So we have the Orthodox Christians, then we have Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know if you have here too, but they started in the beginning of 19th century, end of 19th century, beginning of the 20th century in Italy. Then we have Buddhists. How come that we have the Buddhists? Why we have the Buddhists? Try to guess. First, because we have many Chinese who came to, Chinese Buddhists, they came. But before, why? Because the Tibetan refugees came to Italy. We have the biggest Tibetan community and church, it's a temple, it's a convent, which is in Tuscany, close to Florence, Firenze. The Tibetan community, they live there, it's called Pomaya. And so very often the Dalai Lama is coming to Italy, for example. Very often, because we have a large community of Buddhists. And also, Buddhism became a new fashion. No, it's in fashion in Italy.
Fashion?
No, it's in fashion because people are looking for a new spiritual life. And they find in Buddhism what the Catholics priests were not able to give to them. So Italian people were always attracted by the East since, and you will see, since the Middle Age. We used to come here, Marco Polo. So we know about the East. Since the time of Marco Polo, since the time of the Roman Empire, Italy had a connection with the East. We used to practice, during the Roman Empire, there were religions like Mitra, coming from Persia and India. So Italian people were always attracted by other religions, probably because we are so religious deeply. Every Italian tries to find his own way. Our only problem is that we are anarchists. We are independent. We want to find, we don't obey to anyone, even to the Pope. We admire him, but we don't obey. We want to talk. Italian people are like to discuss topics. They never agree. I explained to you that if you talk to an Italian, usually you start saying, not like all over the world, they say yes, but even the British. In Italy, always they answer, no, it's not true. I don't agree. But at the end, you agree more with an Italian than with a British, for example. But because we like to underline our personality, our independence of thinking, we are really independent in mind. So we are looking for new religions, new philosophy. We are looking for something more satisfying, from a spiritual point of view. We are always studying other religions. It's very common in Italy to say, okay, I was born Catholic, but I follow Buddhism, which is not a religion. You know that it's not a religion in the beginning. It was not a religion. It was a way of life. Or they become Hindu. So around 40,000, I think, we see later, 30 or 40,000 of these people are Italian people who say I'm Italian, who declare to everybody I'm a Buddhist. Among these, 30,000 are Hindu, are Italians, who decided, who choose the Hindu religion. Rest are Hindu coming from India, okay? But 30,000 are Italian people, okay? Who changed the religion.
What is 6?
150,000, 6.
What is 6?
You don't know what the 6, the turban, the Indians with turban. The 6 are followers of Guru Nanak. In Italy, it's really it's the second we have. In Italy, the second largest Indian community in Europe, after England. The biggest is in Italy, unbelievable. They came from, I know very well them, because I was in India for many years, and when I came back to my country, I remember 1 year, I came and 1 day later my father took me to the mall to make some shopping, okay? And I was still under jet lag, and for a second I was tired, I was sleepy. I thought, but what is doing my father in India? Why he came to India? Because I was surrounded by Indian people. And I started thinking, but when Papa came here? I didn't realize I was tired, that I was already in Italy. Because I was surrounded by Indian people.
You were in India?
In Italy. They came to Italy, they settled in my town. We have thousands Indians coming from Punjab. They are mostly of Sikh religion, but we have also Hindu. We have also Buddhist, okay? Coming from India, and they are economic immigrants. They came because economic refugees, we call now, because they come from Punjab, which is the richest region in India, the richest because it's the most fertile state in India. It's in northwest. But because of bad politics, probably because of they start having the water polluted, the land polluted. They start using these Monsanto seeds, the technological idea of agriculture, which is making disasters all over the world, also in Italy, and so they lost the land, they lost the water. The water is not anymore in Punjab, it's going down, and it is polluted. And they had to emigrate, they had to come to Europe, and they go first, usually they go to the Emirates in the beginning. Then they go to work there. And after they come to Italy, after many they go to Canada or UK, okay? But they are very, very good people. They are hard workers. They are very serious. They follow our rules. They respect the Italian government because they found in Italy the possibility to earn their living, you know, and they were poor. And in Italy they found respect. They found the possibility to practice their own religion. They have many temples. Around my house there are 4, 5 Sikh temples. Only Sikh, only for Sikh. Huge. What they do? They don't build new. They buy some, for example, a dismissed factory. There are factories which closed, okay? And they leave their own buildings. The Sikhs, or the Hindu, they buy them or they rent, they renew, and from outside they look like factories, but inside they are temples, okay? And for us it's very common to see their processions in the streets. They want to show to the Italian people their own religion, so they have some festivals and they organize, they ask to the police if they can do processions and parades in the streets, and we allow them to do it, and they offer food to the Italians, and they are very happy to be there. Usually the immigrants are very happy to be in Italy when they are regular. And then we have 26,000 Mormons. They are also new entries because they came after the World War II. Okay, that's why I put a list. So we have the largest, the second biggest is Muslims. They have masjids everywhere. Sometimes they are not allowed it by the police, but not because they are Muslims. It happens also to the Sikhs. It happens because we have already many, and in Italy we are very strict with laws. If you want to buy a house, to make a temple, to make a new building, you have to follow the rules. It means that the electric system has to be perfect, okay? Because unfortunately we are like you, we live in a very seismic place, so there are many rules. If you want to build a new masjid, a new Sikh temple, a new Hindu temple, you have to respect all the rules. And so sometimes it takes time before you have all the papers ready, but this happens also to the Italian citizens. But we have, I don't know how many masjids we have in Italy, so the biggest is in Roma. It's the biggest in the Western world, not only in Europe, the biggest in the Western world. But we have almost in every town where there are Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, we have their own community, their own temples, their own cultural association, everywhere. If they respect the law, for us, it's not a problem. Okay. So the next. So this is the first Gurudwara. You know what is Gurudwara? Gurudwara, it means the door of the Guru, of our first Guru, first leader, God. Who was Guru Nanak. This is the first Sikh temple built in Italy. It's in the central north part of it. This is the first one, but we have many. I don't remember, around 100, everywhere, from north to south. This is the biggest masjid in the Western world, built in Roma 30 years ago. It was built. It's huge. It's in Roma. It's huge. It's a mosque.
Where's the?
It's here. It was made by an Italian architect. the Arabs gave money. In Italy we have this archistar, we call them, the most famous architects in the world. So I don't remember the name of this one. And the Arabs paid an Italian architect to make this big machine. This is the biggest Chinese temple in Europe. It's in Rome, again. And it was opened a few years ago. It's huge.
It's new.
It's a new one. They are all new, of course. These are the new entries. Okay. This is a Buddhist Thai temple in Italy. It's close to my house. This is a Buddhist Thai from Thailand. They have monks coming from Thailand. Just to give an example, but we have in Milano, we have in Torino, in Roma, in Florence, everywhere. We have temples of every religion, almost every religion. Okay? Because in Italy, a new one. Okay, because according to the Italian constitution, what is the constitution? The law of the country, okay? The main law. So according to the article 19, read it. Okay, one of you, read it. Yes.
All persons have the right to profess freely their own religious faith in any form, individually or in association, to disseminate it and to worship in private or public, provided that the religious rites are not contrary to public morality.
What does it mean?
It's free to have any religion.
We are free to have the religion we choose. In Italy, it's not against the law if you say, okay, now I change religion. Maybe your priest is not happy, the priest of your church is not happy, okay? But now they are very advanced. They know that sometimes they have to practice. For example, the priest of my village, one of the priests of many churches, he is teaching to the people, to the community. He's teaching yoga, he's teaching meditation, and he's a Catholic priest. Why? Because now the Catholics realize that there is a research, the people want something more. It's not enough to go to the church and listen to the sermon of the priest. They want to practice meditation, like in the East. They want to practice yoga, because it's good for your health, but also for your spiritual health, for your mind. And so, we are free to practice whatever we want. Okay? We can choose any religion. No one can say anything against you. Of course, you have to follow the rules of the government. You have not to offend the public morality. Okay? You cannot practice a religion to follow, I don't know, the evil, for example, because there are also these crazy people. In Italy, it's out of law. Okay? People who want to do something bad. They are all over the world. Magicians who are practicing something not very nice. But they are against the world, the law. Okay? And the police has the right to catch them and put in jail. We have many followers in jail. But we have even Dianetics. Dianetics for us is something ridiculous. The religion of, what is this American actor. Dianetics is Hubbard, the name of the founder. Okay, it's an American religion, which we consider not very smart, quite stupid. But they are free if they want to become, until they don't do something against the law, it's their problem. not our problem. Okay? So in Italy there is total freedom of religion. You are free to practice, also to spread your own religion. You can convert people. How many Italians are now converted into Islam? How many Italians? They follow, they decide that Islam is the right religion, and it's very common now. It's very common. Mostly through intermarriage. They marry Muslim girls, Muslim boys, and they become Muslim. But also because they believe. They are believers. They really have this faith. It's their right. No one, even your family, no one can stop you. Even your parents. Okay? If you decide when you to become a Muslim or a Buddhist, it's your decision. In Italy, we are free. Okay? So this is quite good. Okay. So conversion, I'll give you the data. Okay? Into Islam are 70,000. Can you imagine? 70,000 Italians are converted into Islam. Italy is a small country. In Indonesia, 70,000 is nothing, but in Italy, it's a huge number. Okay? Buddhists are 40,000, Hindu 30,000. Until now, I never heard about Sikhism, but I know girls who married Sikh boys, and they became Sikh. They start following Italian girls. I mean, you can become Valdese, for example. Sometimes I'm thinking, but Valdese are not so bad because they have women priests. So maybe I change, but no one can stop you. It's your right. Okay. Okay, now this I put, but then I don't know what happened, and this was totally, okay. Because, take it down if you are, why I put interreligious dialogue? Okay, interreligious dialogue, because in Italy, the Catholics now, they are, the Catholic Church, is teaching, not because in Italy, okay, all the religious, the most important religion, they have their own cultural association, and they all cooperate with the Catholic Cultural Association in order to develop tolerance. Okay? So they talk a lot. Now, according to the Italian law from the 21 or 22, 1921, 1922, we have a law. According to this, it was an agreement between Vatican City and between the Italian government and Vatican City in 1921 or 22, and according to that, the Catholics have the right to teach Italian Catholic religion in the schools. We have during the school until 16. Now it's compulsory to go to school. We have to teach. We have teachers of religion because it's an agreement made almost 100 years ago with the Vatican government, and they have the right to put the cross. We have the cross in every classroom, in every public building. We put a cross with Christ to mean that the Catholic is the state religion, okay, from one side. So they teach religion in the schools, but no one, and mostly are priests, but also common people. They need a special license from the Catholic Church. They can teach religion in the school, in the schools. But now nobody is teaching Catholic religions. We are teaching all religions because we have in class students who are Muslim, Buddhist, Sikh, and so what they teach now, the teachers, which is very good, they teach to the children and to the boy, to the people, not at university, but until the high school, we have, we teach religion in the classes. And it's very good because they teach to the students how to stay together, how to live together in peace, okay? Because many times we have immigrant students and they are not Catholics and we cannot force them in learning the Catholic religion, but we teach them that there is a possibility to live together, okay, like in Indonesia. For us it's a new phenomenon, okay? And there are laws, these articles of the penal code. I went yesterday, I looked for these laws because I know that if you offend another religion in Italy, if you say something against the Muslim religion, against a person, it's also an offense. But if you offend his own religion, if you stop, this is for under 5, is if you stop a religious function, for example, you enter in a Buddhist temple and you stop them during a function, you have to go to the court. You can be arrested, okay? Because we are very strict in this. People are free to practice their own religion, are also free to spread their own religion. It means that they can convert other people. They are free because we believe in freedom of thinking, we say, you know. The people are able to understand, the common people are able to understand what is good or not for themselves. So they are free to choose the religion they want, and so you cannot stop anybody. And you are persecuted by the police, by the Italian government, if you say something against another religion. Okay? After the penal code, you can go to jail, so you have to be very careful when you talk to somebody who doesn't belong to your religion. It means that from this point of view, we are very advanced, we are very liberal. Of course, doesn't mean that everybody is so intelligent. There are people who are stupid and who are still thinking that the right religion is only one, and you cannot do in a multicultural society. You have to respect everybody. But they are very few, because usually in Italy people are very tolerant. Of course we are worried about the immigrants because we cannot manage alone, and all the other European countries are saying we don't want immigrants. But Italy is the poorest among the European countries, like Greece, more or less. We are better than Greece, but and of course we cannot open the country to everybody. We need help from Europe to, in order to help the refugees. But Italy alone cannot manage. And sometimes Italian people are saying we have to stop, not to open our country to everybody, and sometimes they become intolerant, but not because they are intolerant with other religions, but because we are afraid for the economic crisis. We are afraid of thousands of people coming without a job and poor, and we are sometimes desperate because many people die in the sea. It's terrible what is happening now in Italy. In Sicily mostly, they come to Sicily, you know. We find boats with dead people who try to, desperate people who try to come to Europe, and the boats are broken and they die. So Italian people are very desperate because we are not so egoists like other countries, and so we don't like to see the people dying because we are poor because they are refugees. In any case, I can say that from this point of view, I'm quite proud of Italy. I'm proud of my country because we really rescue 1,000 people every day, and we are the only one in Europe. Okay? No one helped us. No one helped us, and we are going with our boats to rescue thousands of people every day. Can you imagine 1,000 boat people dying in the sea? And every day and night you go there and collect them. And it's also very expensive, and we have to do everything by ourselves, you know. And then to find a place where to send these people, a village, a hotel, a community, to find a job for them. You cannot keep them doing nothing all the time. This is the sign, you know, that in Italy we speak by hands, okay? So this means that I'm not doing nothing. Start learning, because I will teach you that we speak by hand. I'm doing nothing, I'm not working, I'm a lazy person. Okay, and in any case, we are very, I can say that in our deep, in our heart, because Italian people are very emotional, okay, are very passionate. That's why we like to argue, discuss, not because we are bad, but because we are passionate people. We are not indifferent, okay? We are not racist. And we accept, because you see, we made these laws to protect the other people, the other religions, the other ethnic groups, because we want that, we know that we come from different cultures, we have communities coming from everywhere since 2,000 years back, so for us it's normal to be different. And so everyone can practice his own religion, it's not a problem. Of course, there are some idiots. Everywhere in the world there are idiots, intolerant. But it's a crime. If you are intolerant and somebody wants to go to the police and he can go, I can do. I can say, I go to the police, and they stop immediately, because it's a crime. It's considered a crime to be intolerant, okay? But I finished, okay? Okay, now just to give you an idea of what is my country, of course. So, any question?
Was there any obstacle to make all Italian people being intolerant, or it's already being
Any obstacle to talk loudly?
Is it a natural behavior for all Italian people to be tolerant to others, or there is a specific like teaching, or you make the people to behave like that?
I think it's already in mind.
No, I think it's natural. Italian people are strange. It's natural. No, we are strange. I know that we are strange. We are not. Everybody recognize. First of all, they recognize us because we move our hands. You see somebody talking with her, it's Italian. I think it's natural in the meaning that it's not necessary to be taught. Everybody knows. Maybe could happen that your parents are racist because they are idiots and they grew up you
Yes, my parents
and they grew up you as a racist, but it's not so common. It's not so common. Probably it's coming from the Christian religion also, because Christianity in words, they teach you that everybody is the same, all human beings are the same. Probably it's coming from the Christian religion, you know, which is open to everybody. Christ taught everywhere, taught that everybody is the same in front of God. So probably from this, but also from, because also France France is Catholic, and Germany is Catholic, you know, and England is Christian, but they are not like Italian people. Italian people are different. Of this I'm proud. I criticize a lot my country because Italian people like to criticize. You cannot find an Italian saying, oh, I'm proud of my country, I love my country. No one. We always say, oh, your country is more beautiful than my country, and your country is more advanced, and we are very backward. It's something that we have in our DNA. When I reached Jakarta, and my friends, they asked me, so how do you find Jakarta? But it's like Switzerland, you say. I cannot believe they are so advanced from a technological point of view. We are very backward. We criticize a lot of our country, and it's true. From many things, we are very backward. We are not so advanced like you. So the first thing we think when we go abroad, our country is a disaster. Because we always find something more interesting. But probably because of this behavior, we are able to learn from other people and to make what is Italy, which is really, from any point of view, a miracle. It's not easy to find you know, people so tolerant in the rest of Europe. Italians are friendly. Italian people are very friendly. Everyone can come to our country. They are curious. We are curious. We are talkative people. We want to learn from other people, other countries. We want to learn from other cultures. That's why we become Buddhists. We can be everything. It's not a problem for us. Because we are curious, we are open-minded. And I repeat, this is typical of Italian people. This is typical of Italians. We are not selective. We want to learn how to cook, how to practice Mediterranean, how to cook food of other countries, how to practice new religions, how to stitch, how to find new fabrics. Okay? Italians are curious of batiks. They are crazy for batiks. We are going to organize an exhibition in the Italian Cultural Center about batiks. We are doing, because people are crazy for what is not Italian. Italian people are crazy for whatever is not Italian. And that's why we, at the end, we are able to live with other people without problem. For us to be surrounded by Indian people or African, black African, it's not a problem. Until they respect our laws, okay, and they respect us, it's not a problem. Why it has to be a problem? The world is becoming one. The world is becoming one, in the meaning that we are all the same. But we are different from German people, from British people, because they usually, I can say that when they come to Italy, from England, they are crazy for our food, but they never learn how to cook our food. It's unbelievable. We go to England, they have just one dish, I think, only one, which is good, and we want to learn. We come here and we want to learn your food, how to make your food, because we find your food excellent. So, you understand, this is the attitude of Italian people, different from all over Europe. All over Europe, because we are not arrogant. We always criticize our country and not the other countries, okay? We are not arrogant, we want to learn from others.
Have you eaten padang?
What is
Nasi padang.
Padang
Rendang.
rice.
Do you ever eat, it's a kind of Indonesian food called nasi
No,
padang.
because I'm vegetarian.
I'm sorry.
This I cannot.
So you cook for yourself?
No, I also eat vegetarian food here.
Yeah.
Some soups are excellent. I eat noodles. No, I eat everything. Not meat, not fish.
But always you cook for yourself.
But you
No,
eat
I
egg.
don't. I eat tempeh, I eat tofu, I eat vegetable, I eat everything.
Oh, but you still drink milk.
Drink milk? No, I don't really drink milk because it gives me problems. Also in Italy, I don't really. Okay. But you see the attitude is what I want you to understand. The attitude of Italians is different from the other Europeans. We don't reject the other culture. We want to learn from other culture. Almost all my friends, they have interest in Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, in Indonesia. They all were in Indonesia, all my friends. They visited, some of them are married with Indonesians. It's something that is typical of Italians. We like to mix. Everywhere you can find Italian people, from South America, everywhere we settle, we mix with people. Other communities, no. Italians, yes. And we don't have this arrogance that it's in other parts of Europe. They believe that they are superior, the Germans. We always say that they think that we are inferior because they think Italians, if you talk to other Europeans, they say Italian. No, Italian people, they make a lot of noise, they make confusion, they have a political system which is not stable at all. And it's not true, because it's true that it's not stable. We change continuously, but it's always the same. Italy grew up in any case, okay? Became one of the most important industrialized countries in the world because of fashion, of steel, of many things. But we are different from other Europeans. Sometimes I'm thinking that we are not Europeans because we don't believe that we are the greatest country in the world. We think that we have to learn from other countries. This is the difference between Italians and other Europeans. So if you go to Italy and you say, I'm coming from Indonesia, you are welcome. No one will say anything. You are not just to specify that you are not Chinese, Japanese, because for us everybody is the same, of course. But you are welcome. It's not a problem. So it's a different attitude, different way of thinking, different. We are not snobbish, we are not arrogant, we are not totally different from other Europeans. And when they criticize the other Europeans, they criticize Italians. It happened to me in Holland and in France this summer. I answer, sorry, but we had the Roman Empire, we had Renaissance, we had Leonardo da Vinci, we have Michelangelo. You have nothing. So stop criticizing. Okay, we make a lot of noise, but probably that's why we are so great. I react, of course, when they start criticizing the country. I say you have nothing. In Barcelona, I admired. I told my people, Spanish people are so clean, so well organized. Tourism is working very well. But when they start offending my country and saying, oh, Italy is such a mess, such a confusion, I replied, in Barcelona is very beautiful, but you have just Anton Gaudí and Miro. You have two artists. Come to Italy and see how many we have in every city. So stop talking. I'm making compliments to your country. Please don't start criticizing mine, because we have more and more. We have thousands of masterpieces. We don't have only Sagrada Familia. We have thousands of buildings. Every building is a masterpiece. Okay. But we are not arrogant. You will see, if you go to Italy, Italian people are not arrogant. But the other Europeans lovely. We make some time for it. You recognize Italian groups of Italian tourists because they never follow the tour leader. They go where they want. We have no discipline. We don't obey. We don't like to obey. Okay, this is part of our nature. But Italy gave to the world many masterpieces. So, any question? No. No, very Italians. Italian people are strange. At the end, I will ask you to make a kind of test about our values, and so if you now you have any question, you ask me. This is part of your course. It's not just for fun. I'm here to describe my country for fun, not because you have to learn from other cultures. So. Any question? No, Italy is not interesting. It's a very boring country.
I really want to go there.
Hmm?
I really want to go there.
You will go one day. You learn Italian language, and maybe you get the scholarship. You give money to study in Perugia, and it's my mobile. It's an old mobile. Probably it's my sister who is sending me messages.
Miss,
Very Italian. They call you. Yesterday I was shocked. 1,000 messages from everywhere. What are you doing now? What are these Italian people? They always make noise. We are very noisy people. If you go to England or if you go to Germany, they obey, do everything. If you go to Italy, there is always a mess. I show you. You know, when they park, Italian people. You can get scholarship, you can go to Italy, why not?
Is it hard to apply the visa?
To buy,
To apply.
to apply for the visa. It's hard if you don't have a scholarship. Of course, everywhere in the world it's not easy, there are many restrictions now. If you study, you get the scholarship, you can go, it's not a problem at all. For students, no, usually no. Any question about religions or about what we have done, family, that we have done last week? No. The strange Italian people. No, we are strange. I realize whenever I go abroad in Europe, I travel, I see that we are different. But in any case, I still like my people. I criticize, of course, because I'm Italian. If I'm not criticizing, it means that I'm not Italian. But we are friendly. We are really friendly. Maybe sometimes people are afraid because they don't know. All the new religions are something strange. If you talk to old people, they are a little bit maybe scared. But if, unfortunately, you know that in Europe we had so many terror attacks recently, so the people start having some problems with some religions, but it's not in our nature. It's only because we are afraid, of course, of terror attack. It happened in Paris, it happened in Germany, in London. And so people sometimes are scared, but we still have the largest Muslim community in Europe, and they live there and they work. And they are very serious and they are honest people, so we don't have any problem. But of course, people are afraid because many Italians died in these terror attacks in London, in Paris, and so of course people are afraid of terror attacks. only with this, but we still have no problems with the Muslims. They said they are in Italy and they live very peacefully. So. Like in Indonesia, you have many religions in Indonesia. You have Hindu, you have Muslims, you have Buddhist, you have Christians.
We're not that tolerant.
Yes, but we
Yes.
have access.
Yes.
Indonesia is not so tolerant.
That's why I'm very amazed to know that Italian people are that tolerant.
But because we are friendly with everybody, for us it's not a matter of religions. We respect why so many Italians are attracted by Islam. Because they feel that Islam is more strict and they want a religion which gives more rules, you know. And the Catholics in the last 20 years, they became too much liberal, according to somebody, according to me, no. So they are looking for rules and they admire Islam, which is strange if you think of what is going on in Europe. Yes, we are tolerant, but it's in the nature of Italian people. I think it's in our DNA because we are aware that we belong to different races. We belong to different people, different ethnic groups, and we know this. We know that in our blood there is the blood of... We had Islam. It's not a recent phenomenon. Islam conquered Sicily in the 7th century after Christ. They had a colony in Sicily and Napoli, okay, Calabria, in South Italy. And so it's something that we have since centuries. We are mixed with the Arabs in South Italy. In North Italy, in my part of Italy, we are mixed with Vikings, with Russian, with Slavic people. So, in Northwest with French, sometimes with Spanish in Napoli. They are mixed with the Spanish. So we know that in our blood there are many bloods. And that's why we cannot be, we have to be open, we know, we have to be tolerant. I belong to, only me, you look at me. In Italy now they ask, because we have so many Russians, if I'm Russian, because I don't look as a typical Italian. I told you, we are mixed, we are blonde, black, with hair like yours, curly hairs, blonde, with red hairs, brown, we have, our eyes are of different color. My family, they are all blue eyes. I'm the only one with green-brown, because of course this is DNA coming from I don't know where. In my family, only in my family we are blonde, red, brown, with curly, not curly, we are tall, we are small, we are mixed because in my blood there are many bloods coming from Russia. It's true, the Italians now they ask, are you from Ukraine? My sister is blonde and tall. She looks from Ukraine because we have many immigrants coming from Russia, and of course the people think, you are not Italian, you are from Russia. I look Russian because my ancestors were coming from Russia. Some of my ancestors. My surname is Finnish. Can you believe? From Finland. I'm a Viking. It's true. My surname is Cantele, is the national instrument of Finland. Of course, written with K, not with C. In Italian alphabet, we don't have K. And they made C, they wrote with C. But it's the national instrument of Finland, which is curious. So how can we can be intolerant? not possible. We are mixed. But I don't see so much intolerance here. Until now, I
We
didn't
just
see.
have not.
Hmm?
We just have not seen.
So they don't differentiate between the local Italians and the people from immigrants.
They don't.
Differentiate.
No, usually this happens all over the world. Communities, they settle together. Indians usually stay with other Indians. Chinese stay with Chinese. This is happening all over the world. Italian people, when they settle in South America, they stay together. It's only through the children, the new generation, start mixing with the new Italian generation. But doesn't they settle? Of course, but they talk to their neighbors. They invite the neighbors to their parades, festivals. It's quite common. But of course, in the beginning, the Indian community settled 20 years ago. They start coming to Italy, and it's a new community. It will take time, but they live close to the Italians. They talk to each other. They share. Once they learn the Italian language, they start sharing opinions. In the beginning, the problem is language. If a Chinese speaks Chinese, it's difficult for us to understand. Now many Italians are learning Chinese, but you know, it's not easy. There is a language problem in the beginning, but for us, they are our neighbors. They live in the house close to our house. For us, it's not a problem. It's really, unless they don't do something, they start selling drugs, for example, and of course the police has to go. This is until they work as the Italians, they work, they respect the laws. It's not a problem for us. You don't look at them. For us, they go to the same churches. Now, many Italians decided that they don't want to go to the church. They are looking for something new. They are crossing a religious crisis. So the churches are full of foreigners now. The Catholic churches and also the Protestant churches are full of foreigners. People coming from Africa, people coming from Asia. They go to the church like Italians. We have many priests who are black, African. Many of our priests, or they come from Korea, or they come from Indonesia too. They come, they become priests there, and we go to the church and our priest is black, or is coming from Asia. For us it's not a problem at all. It's important people are honest, they respect laws, they don't make, because sometimes are the immigrants who are racist against you know. But until the time we live together. Why not? Like in India until now people live together, it's not a problem. For us it's curious, it's nice to see, to taste new food, to dress new clothes, to learn. We are a people of learners, we want to learn from others. Now yoga probably will become, will be taught in every class, in every school. Yoga is not Italian, yoga is from India. But they made an agreement in Northeast is already taught in the schools. Because we realized that yoga is good for children. And we made a law in Northeast, not all over Italy, but it will come in every school. Is it clear? Any question? Because I always forget. It's only, I have class until, it's already over. Ah, it's 12:25. So we are on time. Okay. So, but try to remember what I'm saying because we will have a time